Sex sells, or at least that's what we've come to believe. And honestly, that's what we've come to see, where you can basically find softcore porn on every corner in every facet of society, your advertisements, your books, even your movies. And it seems as if it's just been ramping up more and more and more lately. I wonder why. Welcome to the Conspiritual Theory. I'm your host, Junior Spacey. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. On today's topic, I wanted to touch upon why everything is just so hypersexual. Sex is absolutely everywhere. Something that is supposed to be intimate. It's supposed to be shared with a loving partner. It's something that's supposed to be private is and has always been so outwardly displayed in every corner of society that we have come to see. I don't know about y'all, but it's starting to get a little bit uncomfy nowadays. Just going around and every advertisement that you see has to have a display of a woman's breasts or a display of men doing things to women and vice versa. Everything out here nowadays just seems to be overly sexual. And I think it's just because it's a way for us to become desensitized to the fact that sex is supposed to be a natural part of life. I mean, that's how we've all come to be, unless you're some weird protozoa that was formed asexually. Are axolotls asexual? Do they just appear? I feel like that's a conspiracy in and of itself, but I digress. Everything is so hypersexual to a point where people want to outdo each other, it seems. Women want to dress more sexy. Men want to be seen as top G when they have acquired more and more sex from more and more women. And it's just so forward to a point where we can't even hide our kids from hypersexuality. What I see every single day is our society's hyper focus in sex, everything sexual. And yet, have y'all noticed that they took sex ed out of schools, which is leaving all of these children to just fend for themselves and figure out where and how and what, and even more so, turn to media, turn to entertainment to figure out how body parts work, to figure out how to please people, to figure out intimacy. Intimacy is something that's being lost in how we approach sex, because sex is no longer something that is intimate. It's just an activity. What do you expect? Something that is just seen as an activity and not something that is shared between two people. You would obviously see that it's lost its taste and it's lost its flavor for anything special. So rather than doing it with just one person, it's applauded for doing it with multiple people. Hypersexuality has us in a chokehold today. Chokehold. Everyone, most people, or I should say most people who don't have the common sense of what sexuality and what hypersexuality has done to us individually. They just see it as something to do. If you're bored, go have sex. If you're bored, go masturbate and watch pornography. If you're bored, display yourself online. It's much easier to strip than to connect. That is something that I have been seeing more and more. And in my experiences before I came to Christ, because I'll always mention my life apart from being Christ at one point, it's a part of my testimony. Before I came to Christ, I got into the hype of being oversexual, hypersexual, being a person who having sex was just the norm. It was just something that everyone did. It wasn't anything to be cherished or protected. The only time that it was cherished and protected was in a mutual monogamous relationship. Anything outside of that is free game. Do whatever you want. It's the 21st century. Everyone's having sex. So why not just do it, right? Little do people know that the more that you give yourself to multiple people, the more empty you start to feel inside. Something that is supposed to be very very sacred, something that's supposed to be binding to people, just becomes some sort of novelty. It's something that, hey, well, if you want it, I got it. And if you got it, I want it. So why not just give it? It's free. It's the freest form of self-expression that you could possibly ever have, right? Your body. Your body is no longer a commodity. It's no longer something that is special and sacred. Well, it's only special and sacred when someone touches you without your consent. Obviously, I am not condoning touching anybody without their consent. But as long as you are able to give it because you are the ruler of your body, go ahead, throw it out there. On the other hand, hypersexuality now more so is starting to be seen as just a little bit too much. Remember how in the beginning I said that it's just soft core porn at this point when you're scrolling through Instagram? Women in these tiny, itty bitty, tiny triangle cutouts called bikinis. Men in these tight boy shorts to secure their nether regions and their junk packages just on display. And we scroll through it mindlessly. And if it seems attractive, all we have to do is double tap and keep scrolling. It's like filtering constant information on why we should love all things sex. We've just become so desensitized to nudity. Nudity is no longer sacred. If we go back into Genesis, we were all born naked. I mean, I don't know any of y'all who have been born with a tuxedo, any of y'all who were born in formal attire, business casual wear. None of us were born with clothes on. So obviously, nakedness is a natural thing. My thing is, as we know that nakedness is a natural thing, why is it still so shamed? Maybe it's because it's intimate. Obviously, it was because of the fall of man. We fell from grace. Eve ate the apple and then she gave it to Adam. And then we became aware of our nakedness and then we bore shame. Sure, that's a thing. But nowhere was it saying that we were just committing just sexual immorality from the moment we fell from grace. That's something that came over time. We as people have come to see and have come to know that something so taboo as sex is just, how do you put it? Sex is taboo and enticing. And if people know that you're having it, but they don't fully know that you're having it, it's almost this coy little mystery. That's why you see things that where if it's suggested, it's very risque. People in the world love the risque. And not even just people in the world. Christians struggle with that as well. We struggle with things like lust. We're human beings. We lust after things. We make lust the gods that we want to worship. We obsess over the way we look. We obsess over the way our partners look. And we obsess to a point of the complete breaking of our minds and our spirits and our psyches. When it comes to this hypersexual nature of human beings, what I have come to see is we just stop ourselves from living life in a decent way and approaching each other, especially those who are seeking relationships and romance. We stop ourselves from approaching each other in appropriate ways that dive deep into a person. But instead, we like the surface. We like imagining. Our imaginations run wild with the slip of the shoulder, like skin of the shoulder, or showing a little bit of leg, or watching a scene in a movie that's a little bit too seamy. We enjoy it because it awakens something within us. But then we don't realize how much of a struggle it is to break free from that mindset. Because nowadays, sex is so openly available to everyone and everything of all age groups that's the desensitization. No one wants to see someone be a prude. Being prudish means that the person somehow is not fun. Being conservative in how you dress, not wanting to engage in lustful behavior, not wanting to go out drinking with your buddies and hooking up with someone later on in the evening after you just scored a phone number or scored some play. I don't know. Listen, I know I sound super dated, super unnatural, but I'm just saying what I've come to know, what I've come to understand. No one wants to be the odd man out. No one wants to be the one who has a limit or self-control or is saving themselves. Everyone especially in the male community, men look at virgins as weird in today's society. Well, it's always been that way because, again, hypersexuality has always existed. It just has existed in different forms. Women being seen as over sexual or overtly sexual are demonized in society. Again, it's always been that way. What if everyone just chills the heck out and saves themselves? Then no one would be the odd man out. But unfortunately, as human beings, we like to be a part of a group. We weren't meant to be alone. We are supposed to be a part of a group. We're supposed to grow collectively together. So when a certain group of people are seen as virgins, untouched, especially men, they are, what do they call them? Incels, involuntary, celibate, Reddit user men. Don't come for me, Reddit user men, please. I like Reddit. You have a woman who has saved herself or is saving herself for someone special or for marriage. And what is she seen as? She's seen as a good girl, pure, white as snow. And then you see a man who is overly promiscuous, who has had in his count, maybe hundreds of women that he has slept with, that he has bedded. And what is he? He's the man. Slap on the back. He's that guy. You have to go to him for advice if you're a man. And on the other opposite end, you have a woman who has been extremely promiscuous. She has slept with hundreds of men. Let's put it in the same number. And what is she? She's a hoe. She's a WHORE. She's a terrible person. She's untouchable and unloved, and she belongs to the streets. Now, I'm not here to talk about double standards. I'm not here to talk about men versus women. That was in a different video. I'll tag it below or link it somewhere here. But what I want to really touch on, my theory of why we as a society are so focused on sex, is not only because we are somehow we are touch deprived, but we have not come to understand the importance of intimacy between a person romantically in that way. So when God created man and he gave him a wife, and he mentions that the bedroom is undefiled between a wife and her husband, it's meant for two people, not for you to share something that is supposed to be so intimate with everyone that catches your eye or everyone that tickles your fancy. It should never have been that way. That should have never become something that is what we strive for as a society. I believe that what needs to happen is a deeper dive within who we are and what we truly desire. Some of us just really need a dang hug. Some of us never had good examples. A lot of us never had good examples of what true loving intimacy looks like. So therefore, we go off into the world to try to find it for ourselves, whether it's through pornography, whether it's through intimacy just through trial and error, or whether it's through word of mouth and then trial and error. We just never stop to think about whether or not going and being hypersexual or being in a hypersexual world will affect us for generations to come. I can throw out my suggestions, but honestly, I would say the best way to attack lust and hypersexuality is taking a look inwardly to figure out what's been going on and why. Why are you so hypersexual? Why is sex so incredibly important? Why is intimacy almost the last thing on the list? It's about sexual pleasure, and then maybe intimacy falls in line somewhere after that. It's a good question. God intended for sex to be good, but he didn't intend for sex to be abused. Maybe we need to ask ourselves that question. How do we not abuse sex? I mean, you can't scroll through Instagram and keep scrolling without seeing something exposed to some degree. I'm not going to say delete your Instagram, but I would encourage all of you to look at skin and hypersexuality in a different lens. And by a different lens, ask why. What about it is enticing? What about human body parts makes us go crazy? Is it the imagination? Is it the lustful desire? And then when you get it, do you not feel a little weird after? I don't know. I have a lot of questions, but I want to hear from you guys. Let's start a conversation in the comments. You let me know how you feel about this hypersexual society that we live in. Is it just the way that it's always been and the way that it has to be? Or do you think that things are going a little bit too far? Are you hypersexual? Are you not? Why or why not? Let's talk. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on the Conspiritual Theory. I'm Junior Spacey. Please leave a like, a comment, share, and if you want to see more of my content, have more conversations, hit that notification bell so you can see what I got going on later on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, bye.